What's up guys and welcome in this new video. Since I started to listen metal and specifically black metal, I saw that many metalheads are also nerds. They're big nerds and they love video games, and I'm one of those. I saw especially that black metal scene have a lot of kind of, let's say, gamers, and I found it especially not just with friends but also looking at the private life, let's say, of a musician alike. For example, the singer, the only member of the band called Satanic Warmaster, he have his own Instagram page when he posts constantly games he bought, especially Japanese games and rarity and stuff like that. And also one of my favorite guitarists in the black metal scene called Shoutrag, who's a Finnish guitarist who play in a lot of bands. A few of the most famous are Horna and Sorgeist. And he's a huge fan of Zelda, for example. And he also show his collection on Facebook. So today I wanted to talk about my favorite 10 games of all time. There's something modern, there's something that I played 10 more years ago, but if something is good, it's never age. So one of my first favorite game ever is Resident Evil 1. I loved and I still love this game. I don't remember how much time I finished this game and for how many systems. I remember the first time I played it was on PS1. And scared the hell out of me. And I don't remember how much times I finished it on the PlayStation 1, but then I remember I played this game on Nintendo DS. The remake from Nintendo DS also was actually good. And then I played a lot on Nintendo GameCube, that before the Nintendo DS version. I think that on Nintendo GameCube I finished the game mostly 10 times. And then recently I bought it for PlayStation 4, the collection that included Resident Evil 0, also another good game. And I finished a couple of times again. It's an awesome game. I think it started the survival games, and I still love the mechanic, the slow movement, the tank camera, how they say it in the past. So I still enjoy the game, I still love the gameplay. It's awesome, the sound, it's awesome, the graphic in the remastered for PlayStation 4 is really good, thinking that it's a porting from GameCube version. So yeah, one of my favorite game ever. The second game that I really love so much is The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. I love Skyrim, don't get me wrong, but this game had something that more for me. I mean, I love the fact that Skyrim is much more darker and colder, of course. There was much light, and for me some stuff were much more inspired, beside the graphic that looking at it now sucks. But I prefer it against Skyrim because it's much more alive, to say. And it's normal because Skyrim is set in the north and Oblivion set in another region, much more sunny. So I love the contrast with the sun, with the forest, with the greens around, something that Skyrim doesn't have because there's not that much light game because it's in the north, darker, like I say. So yeah, both awesome games, but if I have to decide which one I prefer, I will say Oblivion. Another game, and this one is one of those that I really loved and I finished a lot of time, is Alan Wake. If you love Stephen King books and if you love also the Stephen King movies, this is the perfect game. The atmosphere, it's awesome, really awesome. I don't like all games, I just play games with a beautiful story, because if a game doesn't have a beautiful story or a story, I will not play it. I'm not enjoying just the gameplay. Alan Wake, it's something awesome. The story for me, it's super beautiful. The gameplay for me actually is good, even if a lot of people didn't appreciate that. Yeah, the graphic for the time was awesome. I played it on Xbox 360. I know it wasn't even 720p, but I really enjoyed it. Another game, since we are talking about Alan Wake, that I love, developed for the same company called Remedy Games, it's Control. Control is a recent game that they put out, and I felt immediately in love because I know that I will love this game because I love Remedy games, and it's awesome. The story can fuck your brain because you have really pay attention to what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're listening, because it's hard to understand the story, but when you when you go into the game, you really appreciate that. And it's also connected to the Alan Wake and the other game from Remedy called Quantum Break that I didn't play, but I want in the future. So if you love one of those games, Quantum Break or Alan Wake, please play Control, because it's a huge game, really awesome. Now we are going back in the time again to the PlayStation 1, and this is a game from, I guess, 1998. Yeah, 1998, 1999, and it's Final Fantasy VIII. This was my first attempt with JRPG games. At the beginning I was like, what the fuck is this shit? I want to play, I want to kill, I want to play, I want to do something different, not just stay there and decide which attack your character have to do and stuff like that. But when I start to learn and understand the metric of the game, I fall in love with the series, and I played a lot of others, Final Fantasy. But this remained in my heart, let's say, because it was the first one I played, and I love the character, Squall, and the others. It's a huge game, it's so long. I remember I was playing on PlayStation 1, and the timing stopped after 99 hours, because I don't know, was the maximum of the time, the counting. And yeah, I played, I was, I guess, how much older I was, I don't remember if I played when it came out or some years later, but I was, I guess, 13-14 years old, and I played the whole summer at the night. It was awesome. Let's remain into JRPG, and one of the recent game, let's say 3 years ago, that I played, it's Xenoblade Chronicles. Oh my god, this game become one of my favorite game ever. The story is something amazing. It's a long game, but you don't get bored of it. There's no dead point that you are there saying, oh my god, I have to play this part, it's so boring. You are just continuously, you continuously want to go into the game, know how the story evolves, and when you finish it, you really regret that you can't delete your memory and play it again, because it's one of the best JRPG ever. I guess one of the 5 best, if not the best JRPG I played in my life. Considering that this was available on Wii, the graphic, it's awesome. I didn't play it on Wii. I have the Wii version that I bought without having a Wii, because I was so smart at the time. I was buying games that was rare to find. I was scared to not find anymore. And then I never bought the console. Yeah, I know. So basically I have a few games from the Wii that I actually don't have the console to play with, and but I play it with the emulator on my PC. Still legal, because I have the physical copy that I bought, so I played it with the emulator in full HD, and looks really awesome. This game here came out on the 360 and PlayStation 3 era, and it's Bioshock. I'm not counting just the first Bioshock, but the trilogy, because I loved every single chapter. The first one, of course, is the first one, so you cannot mention it. It was one of my favorite games at the time. The horror vibe you get, it's not a scary game, but there's a horror vibe, and the atmosphere, it's crazy. And I think that is one of those few games that really innovate at the time, because you never play something like that, like a FPS, but with RPG stuff inside, and with a beautiful underwater place or city or whatever. It was super great. And if you never played, there's a remaster, so I suggest you to play, because it's awesome. Another games from the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 era, it's Gears of War. That was my first next gen at the time game, and blow my mind. The graphic was something huge. Even today, if you play it, the graphic is still good. I played it 1 month ago, just to get back in the past for a second and look how was the games at the time, and looks awesome, really awesome. It was inspired by Resident Evil 4, I mean the gameplay, but then evolve is on his own with the covering stuff and others, and yeah, one of my favorite saga. I stopped to play it with the third chapter. I never played Gears of War 4 and Gears of War 5 because I didn't actually bought the Xbox One. I just stopped on 360, so I will play probably on PC in the future, but I have other games now to play. So another game from that era, just good games of that era, so I'm sorry, some of my favorites are from that time. So, and it's Mass Effect, and here I will say Mass Effect 1, but as for Bioshock, it's one of my favorite saga ever. Mass Effect, it's one that's was one of the best RPG ever, in my opinion. The combat system in the first one lack on some stuff. It's not perfect like the Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, but the atmosphere, it's awesome. It's huge. There's no other game set in the space as I remember. Yeah, there's Dead Space, but it's not an RPG. And for everyone who love futuristic stuff, universe, stars, planets, Mass Effect is one of the best games you can play. And the story, I don't know how nobody made a movie on this game, because the story is one of the best I ever played. And last but not least, I will put The Witcher 3 that I'm still playing. It's a huge game. I'm 105 hours and I still have finished just 40% of the game. It's so long that sometimes I'm just like, I will never finish that game or not, but it's good. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of open world games. Usually I play just the Elder Scrolls, because the Elder Scrolls is magic. I mean, you can't not play the Elder Scrolls, but The Witcher 3 was one of the few open world games that I really continue to play after the story. And the story is good in The Witcher 3, one of the best for an open world game. Have a huge RPG system, upgrades and stuff like that, and the graphic is really good, even on my PlayStation 4. And I would also say it's I guess it's one of the masterpieces of this generation of consoles. So I can't wait to play also for CD Projekt. I can't wait to play as Cyberpunk 2077 and see what they will drop out with the next generation for the Witcher series, that I guess will be huge and super good. So guys, this is all for this video. If I have to talk about other games, we will not finish this video in years, because I have a huge collection of games up there, and stuff like that, and I love a lot of games, so it was hard for me just 10 games. I mean, I can also say Dragon Quest is one of my favorite, the 9 one. Zelda, Ghost Trick for Nintendo DS, so maybe we'll cover this topic in another video in the future, one day, we'll see. So nothing, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe, leave a comment, and see you in the next one. Cheers!